Hello, welcome to the latest instalment of Shooter Ready, the GBPRA podcast brought to you by Boscobel Weapon Systems. We're not sure what number this is, so it's the latest instalment. I think it's 6, he thinks it's 5.
Yeah, I don't think we can 6.
I don't know. I'm Simon, that's Christian, whichever way he is. Say hello, Christian.
Hi, everybody. Good to be back.
It's good to be back. We've got lots to talk about. I mean, I'm going to do... I normally lose track of the time. It's 8 minutes past. We're going to do an hour, and then anything else can wait till next time.
Is it fair to say we've got a bit of a political one tonight?
Yeah, we're going to upset a few people tonight, I think. But
do you think?
Scott Satley told me earlier this evening it's okay to upset a few people every now and again. And,
right.
You know, shooting God. Right, I mean, where do we start? Let's start with the big news. It's been a busy 24, 40 hours. We're now going to France. It's the first. That's the thing we've got to concentrate on, really, isn't it?
And that is good. And that is good news. That's good news for the GBPRA and the team Great Britain. It's
great news. I mean,
yeah.
As the poor sod that was pulling together the travel tickets to Hungary, we've just removed about 5 different stages of travel through 5 different countries we didn't need to go through. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, France is... I mean, we'll get into how it happened and pros and cons, but France is a fantastic venue selfishly for our British team, logistically, in every sense. So, and we'll talk about it in more detail, I'm sure, but Philippe and his team, you know, if anyone was filled with confidence in this industry recently, it's been those guys, because they know how to put a show on. We might as well go back to the beginning. I mean, we knew there was a potential issue with Hungary, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about that.
I will say that the way it was dealt with by all involved, including Hungary and the IPRF, I was very impressed by it. It was all very measured. A number of options were considered. We, as a GBPRA, came up with our own contingency and options, and we all went to the table. And Hungary, they've made it public knowledge the reasons why they've not done it. It's a combination of instability is probably a better word, with what's going on that side of Europe, military-wise, COVID, and a number of other issues. You know, crying over spilt milk. They were really professional about it, and they passed the baton on. Other options were considered, and we decided almost unanimously that France was the most viable option. Philippe and his team have got a real depth of experience putting on large shooting competitions.
Yeah.
And we, as the GBPRA, offer to help however we can logistically. I mean, we're going to send people over to an event they've got in April or May.
Last day of April, first day of May, both.
Yeah. So, and just to start building bridges and see what we can do to help.
Yeah.
That's where we got to. We had our hand forced, or should I say the IPRF had their hand forced a little bit, and we did as well. We were sort of running around. That was unfortunate, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like in anything in life, you know, organisations are going to be faced with challenges, difficulties, situations that are out of their control. And like you've already mentioned, Hungary, you know, diligently, you know, tried to progress the World Championships in August, but circumstances were against them. They did a fair assessment of what it would take for them to be able to do it, and the IPRF came to the conclusion that there just wasn't enough time for Hungary to get that stood up, and Hungary said that themselves. Maybe with another year, all well and good, but the situation was that we were having to find another host nation. That takes some time just to get a few things in order, as you'd expect. It's a major international event. 24 countries are going to be shooting there from across all of the continents across the world, other than Antarctica. That takes a little bit of putting things in order. And any organisation would always appreciate the time to be able to focus on that task, deliver it, and at the appropriate time, then, you know, announce what was happening. that opportunity was taken away from us, and it was taken away from us.
I was just going to say you've been very polite and all that, but I didn't realise you were building up to a crescendo. Yeah. Please carry on.
Yeah, but the opportunity to inform the world of what was happening in a proper and considered manner, that opportunity,
in a grown-up manner.
Yeah, in a grown-up manner, was taken
away. In a grown-up manner, let's say as it is.
Was taken away from the IPRF because there was a leak.
Yeah.
There was a leak, which is disappointing because it's not the first time that it's happened.
No.
And I think the people that, or the person that is involved in the IPRF that is allowing that to happen, needs to take a long look at themselves and ask themselves the question, why am I involved in this? If my desire is to actually cause problems. That's the first issue. The second issue is that you've got certain individuals, unfortunately in our own country, who from the very outset, for whatever reason, and it seems to be for personal motivations, wants to tear down everything that we're trying to do. And, is more than happy to take any leaks and immediately post them to the world in as derogatory a manner as they think that they can get away with. And it's just damaging because there's been so much good work done in the past 12 months to bring the precision rifle community together. And we thought we got over a lot of that. But it just goes to show that there's certain people that are just bitter and twisted. And are just going to take every opportunity that they can to stick a knife in and try and derail efforts.
I mean, we'd gone best part of 2 weeks of. We were so not concerned, but we were so conscious of a leak happening. We produced a statement 2 weeks ago. If this gets out that Hungary isn't happening, this is what we put out. And it was the GBPRA has become aware of an issue with Hungary, and we were making sure there'll be an international quality event for our shooters, and we sat on it for 2 weeks. We're thinking this hasn't come out. We were quite happy. We thought, well, perhaps we've got to the point when we're all being grown up and responsible and respectful. And then I was driving back and from Leeds yesterday, and Christian says, maybe see what's happened, and some random. I mean, I've already made my views clear on our Facebook page. If anyone that wants to see what my views are, go on to the post that went on today, and I'll tell you. I'm reiterating what I've already said for those who haven't read it. Someone had just gone on there, just almost basking in the glory of the fact it's not happening. You go on to like GB Summit, it's called. I don't know why someone will get some joy out of something like this. It's
crazy.
It's quite sad, really.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting to see was we've been here before. 12 months ago we were up against all this, but it all went away. What was really interesting to see was there was a couple of people say, "Hang on, if you're going to post something like this, you need to say what the source is." Now, disappointingly, said the source was the IPRF. That's one for the IPRF to deal with if they've got a leak.
Yeah.
But it's how it happened, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, you talked about two things, and you said first and foremost, it's people. The first thing, we're no strangers to having people trying to attack us from the inside. We've had people join the GBPRA just to try and take us down. Those people have moved on, come on just to upset the group. We've got a wonderful group of members. Those that are on the Facebook group have seen firsthand the people that come just try and spam it all up and try and distract everyone away from what's going on, try and challenge and undermine and criticise whenever they can. So we're no strangers to that. We've seen it before. But it's these people that go to such extents. I mean, you want to see how bad it is for yourself? Go on Facebook and look at a thing called BAIRS, BAIRS. Type that in. Look at some of the stuff that's on there. It's, some of the stuff in the past has been aimed at individual people. This whole childish thing that's going on.
Yeah, and quite devastating. Quite devastating for those people that are targeted as well. It was bad. Yeah. It was serious. Yeah.
I mean, enough water's gone on the bridge now. We have people that didn't want to be involved in what we were doing as a committee because of it. Personally targeted by people.
Yeah.
People that have put a lot into this sport were being just childishly bullied ultimately because of it. But go and look at BAIRS. look at some of the memes. You've seen a million before. You know, it's the same nonsense that fills the internet. But look at who likes some of these. I mean, these people aren't that clever. There's people on there that should know better, upstanding members of the shooting community, involved in the industry, and they're liking some of these. I mean, a couple, as funny as some people might see them as being, you've got to look at what they're trying to do, and it's just childish. And that's what we're up against. And these are the people that want to try and ruin it for those people that come and shoot events, join as members, join as juniors, want to progress through, come and take part in the Spotters Academy. You know, there's more shooting events, precision rifle shooting events in the UK than there's ever been before now, because we're making it as cheap as possible. But these people just want to see the world burn, and it's really sad.
You want to you've got the people that we know are out to tear things down. They don't want to see things built. Okay, you know, we want to see the shooting community across the world come together and enjoy a real spectacle of precision rifle shooting, to see each country go up against each other. In the UK, we want to see more people shooting precision rifle. We want to support new people coming into the support and help them. There are people out there that genuinely want to tear that down. They just do. It's obvious. It's obvious from the behaviour. It's obvious from what they say. It's obvious from what they do.
I mean, those that know me, I'm a reasonably respectful person. I'll speak my mind. I'll take people on. I'll challenge people's behaviour. I don't bully people. I don't single people out. I'd like to think I'm a reasonable guy. I've been banned from things. I hate social media anyway, but I found myself banned from things I don't even want to go on. You know, great example. Today, someone said to us, there's a member or someone wanting to find out about GBPRA stuff on a certain forum. Do we say the forum, or will they try and sue us or something? Yeah, UK Varminton.
UK Varminton. No,
Christian went on as the GBPRA to answer this guy's comment, got his post removed and got banned. And guess what? I mean, UK Varminton contact me and tell me if I'm wrong, but the moderator on there is the same chap that's leaking stuff about IPRF. I mean, it's exactly it's childish stuff.
There was a guy on there. There was a guy on there, wasn't there, today? Genuinely asked a question about qualification for the world's Great Britain team. So I went on there as the GBPRA. You know, for those that don't know, I'm the media officer. It's my job. I'm a volunteer mind. So I ignored all the other nonsense that was on there trying to slag off what the GBPRA and the IPRF were doing. There was a guy there that was asking a genuine question. I went on as the GBPRA to answer it. My comment got taken down. Then it reappeared. Then it disappeared again. Then it came back on again.
Then you got banned.
And then I got told I couldn't comment anymore. I was effectively banned off the group. The guy then asked another question, you know, just about which calibers are the most popular in precision rifle matches. So I had to go on as myself to answer that question because I couldn't answer it as the GBPRA. And that's the sort of nonsense that we're up against. But there's those people, we know who they are. And I'm sure everyone
knows who they are.
And I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this know who they are.
And the industry people know who they are as well.
Yeah, I know. And you know, they are, you know, making themselves look a little bit foolish. But if I'm being generous. But then you mentioned about people that are responding to the memes that have been put on the Bears page, and they're maybe laughing at them or laughing along with them and whatnot. If I was being generous to those individuals, yeah, some of the memes are quite humorous. Okay, yeah. There was a picture today, wasn't there, of Borat with his cart, and Boris like, Hungarians. I am going to France. I'll tell you what, when I saw that one, I did laugh out loud. It was a funny meme. Whoever did that meme, please, you've got my respect. Great meme.
Well, they've got too much time on their hands.
They've got a bit too much time on their hands, yeah. Well, there must have been 5 memes that they created today, which was a bit crazy.
The one that followed was that Sudan's coming next. So, Sudan Precision Rifle Federation, get yourself ready. Bears are going to sponsor it, apparently. Yeah, it's coming to the Sudan next. Then, interspersed, then you've got sort of bukkake parties and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. It's gutter humour. The occasional one, a moderate person could say is mildly funny, but some of it's just horrendous. And in the past,
but I hope,
some of it's been targeted at individuals. Go on, mate.
But I'm sorry, but the point I'm making though is if somebody's giving that a thumbs up or a laughing emoji, it's like, I hope that all they're doing is laughing at the meme because it's a humorous meme. I get that. Yeah. But if you've got any sympathy with the views that these people have or the intentions of these people, which is basically just to divide support,
damage the community,
divide the sport, damage the community, when actually what the GBPRA are doing, what we are doing is benefiting everybody who's involved in precision rifle. If you're agreeing with what they're trying to do, then you need to take a long, hard look at yourself, because I'm sorry, but you're not doing what's good for sport.
And let's say something, which we try to be sensitive where we can. Where we are as an association was 12 months ago. We've now got associations, companies, groups, competitions that were actively distancing themselves from us for the various reasons, mainly because they swallowed the pill, and now wanting to work with us, are going to work with us, are going to come and shoot our events, are going to come to our PR22 finales, are asking if they can physically sponsor and support our events. Things have, changed for the better, yet you've still got these individuals plugging away. The best thing we can do is ignore them. But because they did quite a dishonourable thing in releasing the France-Hungary thing, they've shone a big light on themselves. What I'll also say is, this group in particular, someone sent me a link to it and I couldn't get into it, and it turns out they've banned me from getting in there.
We're all banned from it.
They don't want me to see it, but they're so stupid, they didn't realise that someone just sent me screenshots of everything that was said, so I might as well be in there, but then I'd have to see the nonsense. Grow up. If you don't want to grow up and you want to, try and change what we're doing, come and see me. The 19th, 20th of March, I'll be at Ryan. I'll be there all day, both days. Let me know how much your bus fare is or your train ticket. I'll pay you in advance. I'll put your food on and stuff like that. We can talk about like grown-ups. If you don't turn up, I'll take it that you just want to sit in your mum's basement and in your underpants and put pictures of bukkake parties up and whatever it is you do to get your shits and giggles. You're a firearm certificate holder, you're an RFD, whatever you are. You tread very carefully. That's not the behaviour of someone that really should be shooting, being obsessed with a firearm, being involved in the firearms industry. Let's all be grown up, shall we? Can we put this to bed now? Oh no, one thing we need to talk about. Let's talk about sponsor shooters.
All right. Yeah.
I'm making sure you're not frozen again.
No. I'm just. I'm waiting for you to. I'm waiting for you to carry. I'm just mulling over what we've just been discussing, because it just still surprises me that when the community, the precision rifle community, is coming together like it has come together over the past 12 months, to a point where, seriously, mate, everybody's friends again. There was distrust at the beginning. We understand that. People overcame their distrust. People started to grow confidence that each other's intentions were the best intentions. Some people just haven't caught up, have they?
No, and the people, it's a small game, this precision rifle community. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, in the last 6 months, we've spoken to every single precision rifle facilitator, bona fide, not some flash in the pan effort, but every bona fide precision rifle facilitator who is going to be working with us in some capacity this year, either sending the winners of their competition to our finale for PR22. I'd love to tell you more, but we need to dot those I's and cross those T's yet. Or if they want to sponsor us or support us, provide food at our events, that'll get released soon. I'm not going to get into it now. This is light years ahead of where we were, yet we find ourselves still being, seen as something we can be, the target of someone's humour. Or more
Apparently
importantly,
we're bad for the sport, mate. Apparently we are bad for the sport.
Bad for the sport. We're doing terrible things for the sport, sending 20 people to an international competition, bringing down the price of venues and shoots.
Bringing loads of new shooters, support.
Doing loads of training.
Promoting other people's events.
Yeah, you go onto our forum, there's a link to every single precision rifle competition. It's been there for ages. I mean, going back in the day, we tried to do it a long while ago and we got told off and shouted at because we were using other people's logos and stuff. We were just trying to make sure everyone could see where there was to shoot. Go on our forum, you can see links to PRS, to Gardens, to Rifleman's, to Tunnel, to everyone. Anyway, Silverstone, everything that John's doing with the NRL, fantastic. Tie and all that, brilliant.
And we're not trying to control it all. We're not trying to control it all. We're just trying to support everybody.
Well, be careful, there'll be a Hitler video or something, because that happened last time, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, the Hitler video. That was a good one. Video. Whoever edited that, it was good.
It was. Again, too much time on their hands. You know, if it's a 15-year-old, then fine. But if it's a grown-up, then they should hang their head in shame. Despite, it's a segue onto sponsored shooters, why people are angry. Because it's not just the guy that's doing or the facilitating all this. We'll call him Ron for the benefit of keeping track of. It's not just Ron that's doing this. It's all the other people around him. But there's lots of angry people. And I see it's two reasons. Firstly, they don't see that paying 100, 130, 140 pound a day to shoot as being fair. They want to do it on the cheap. So they want to shoot on a field for 40, 50 pound. Sketchy as to whether the firearm certificate work, but they want to do it cheaper. So they see an issue with it costing money. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be under any illusion to the fact that precision rifle shooting costs money to do properly, safely, lawfully. It costs money. You cannot do it on the cheap. You want to hire Chobham to do it on an NRA premises, to shoot steels. You can't do the positional stuff at Chobham yet, but we'll get there with it, but it costs money. You want to, anywhere you go, you got to shoot a PRS event, it costs money. If you're paying 20, 30 pound in a field, good luck to you, but that's not the future of the sport. That's car boot sales. That's not going to Argos and buying a new product. That's car boot sales and second-hand goods. I know everyone can't afford to do it. I've been there myself. The reality is, it's like, well, let's get rid of Formula One because not everyone can afford a Formula One car. Might be a massive jump, but we can't not do it because it's seen as expensive by some people. Those people don't like what we're doing because, it's Orion's £140, £130 too expensive. I've been shooting, as long as I can remember, I don't see it's expensive. I was paying more than that to go and shoot Orion before the GBPRA, the PRL ever existed. I was going down to Roundhouse to shoot. I think I was probably paying that sort of money to shoot down there. So they don't like that. They don't like sponsorship either. Why? Because they're not getting it. Now, sponsorship's a dirty word. There's lots of people get really angry. They go on various manufacturers' websites and Facebook pages and try and throw mud at them and say, well, it's not fair that this lad gets this and that lad gets that. Life isn't fair, fellas. Get used to it. You get what you put into, you get back what you put into this sport. If you're out there, you're promoting what the sport is. You're encouraging new people to get into the sport. You're growing social media footprints, all those sorts of things. You will get sponsorship. You will get support from businesses. Why? Because they want something back for what they invest. John Smith, who's complaining that he doesn't get, let's pick an Accuracy International. It's not fair. I don't get an Accuracy International. Why does he get one? Well, whoever it is, they're doing lots of work. They're going to competitions. They're winning competitions. They've got an inherent skill level. They're doing loads of promotion on social media. They're working for the brand.
They've spent a lot of their money on the journey to get there as well.
But they're just angry because they don't get it. Well, I don't think it's fair. And it's not fair. But that's life. And either deal with the fact that life isn't fair, man up, do a Tom Rice. Anyone that says to me, sponsored shooters, it's not fair. Tom Rice will shoot anyone's eyes out with a factory Tikka. If anyone deserves to be a fully paid sponsored shooter, it's someone like Tom. Honest, dead straightforward. He won't thank me for naming and shaming him, but you don't need to have big fancy kit to get yourself forward in this sport. There's other people shooting factory, shooting modest, they're putting the time in, they're putting their own money on the table to get to events. Get out there, do it, get your name known in social media, get these brands looking at you and talking about you. And if you put the effort in, opportunities will happen for you. It's that simple. If you do nothing and you sit at home moaning on UK Varminting or Facebook or whatever, that it's not fair that someone else is sponsored and I'm not, then do something about it. Either deal with it, move on, or get yourself in there, get amongst it, and approach a company. I've had it. I've had people approach me. Can you help me out? Yeah, help you out. I don't mean you bias people, but I've had people contact me saying, I'm trying to get into this sport. This particular one was IPSC. It'd be really helpful, but I'm struggling. And so I have to help them out. That's what you do. I send loads of free stuff out, and I say to people, you ask me, so I'll give it you. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you sit on your hands moaning the world's unfair, you ain't gonna get anything. Mm-hmm. So,
and you know what? And you know what? Sponsored shooters, in my experience, from what I see, looking across the field, they're not getting a massive amount.
There's no pro shooters in this country. There's
nobody who's getting paid to do it.
We don't use terms like this, but in America, there's pro shooters, fully paid, all the kit provided for, travel to and from events. Some of them are incentivized if they win a competition to get something extra. No, nothing like that. At the top end, we've got people who are very well supported by one company or one brand. They get lots of kit, but typically they're buying all their own brass. They might get an allowance towards something. If they're involved in teams, they might get some sort of support in terms of getting things cost. But there's no one in this country that's getting it all put on a plate for them. If they've got a rifle, it's not theirs. They've been lent it.
And they could be shooting next to the guy that's got his own business, doing really well for himself, worked very hard, and he's got tens of thousands of pounds to splurge on his hobby every year. Yeah. It's like, are we going to start criticising that guy?
No, it's motor racing. Like, someone used a motor racing analogy for me once. We were sat at Ryan and we were talking about it, and they were saying, it is what it is. It's a sport. Motor racing is a sport. If you turn up and you try and do it as a privateer, it's very difficult. If you've got a lot of talent, you can succeed. You can move up as a privateer. You know, it's by bigger companies, race teams get taken on and move up that way. If you don't enter the race, you sit in the stands moaning that it's fixed, then don't expect to be given any support. But everyone can do it. Anyone can turn up to our event and show us what they're made of. You're either a good shot or you're not. If you're not a good shot, come and have some fun, enjoy yourself, don't expect too much of it. If you're not a good shot and you think you should be treated differently, then I think you need to give your head a feel. You get what you put in everything in life. Nothing's given to you on a plate. There's no one I know at the top end. People are going to pull a face when I say this, but let's take some people up there. Ryan Charlton, Alex White, and Josh Martin aren't good shooters because they've got someone else's kit. They're good shooters because they put the time in.
Yeah,
they put the effort in. They could be shooting on factory, stock factory rifles. They'd be there at the top.
Like Tom Rice.
Like Tom Rice.
Lawrence Barnes, when he first
these people deserve to be supported because we want them to be the best they can be. Why? Because I want them to go over to America. I want to go over to France and smash the American team. Sorry, Scott.
And the Russians, they look pretty handy. I think they need smashing as well.
Steady on. Let's not get carried away. No, but yeah, you're right. We're trying to develop this sport. So rather than it being a country falling out with itself in fighting, we can get the best in this country to go and perform at an international level. And then that's how people get into it. I want kids to see precision rifle on the highest level of TV possible so they can see how I get into that.
Yeah.
At the moment, I've been speaking to various different associations, British Young Shooters Association, I've been speaking to them. They're really keen to get involved in what we're doing. How can they see what we're doing? They'll watch some of your YouTube videos, they'll listen to one of the podcasts, watch one of the podcasts. Are they seeing it on TV? No, I remember watching the IPSC Hawk mini rifle thing on satellite TV that John put on at Silverstone. Fantastic. I'd love to see how many people got into IPSC off the back of watching that hour-long program on Sky.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to be aiming for, getting this sport out as wide as possible.
Yeah.
And we'll only do that by cultivating what we've already got to make them as good as possible, getting them on the international stage, getting that recognition.
You're right, and the sport's got the right ambassadors. They just need a lift and they just need supporting. So I look at Alex White, just won our last match, fifth qualifier. He's a sponsored shooter, shoots for Team AI. Spent a lot of his money to get there. A lot of his time training and developing.
Well, he wasn't a Team AI shooter when I met him.
No, that's what I'm saying. He started somewhere.
There on his own dollar.
He didn't. Yeah, he was there on his own dollar. He didn't walk into it. But there's a young lad, Will, who's a member of the GBPRA, one of our junior members. He comes along to all of our matches. Who's his hero? Alex White is his hero. He looks up to him. we've got to be lifting Alex up, because he's a role model to the next generation of people coming into this sport. And if we're serious about making sure that the sport grows, we need to support these guys.
And you look at Will. I'm going to show my backside. His dad's James in it. They'll forgive us for naming him. Yeah, Will came to an event. It was great having him round. And I spoke to his dad afterwards. He sent us a fantastic message talking about how good it was and he'll be back and all that sort of stuff. And the old adage, you have a good experience, you'll tell 5 people. If you have a bad experience, you'll tell 50.
Yeah.
And what we've got to do is you've got to maximise people that come to our events. And every time we have people come, our inbox is full of people saying I had a great time. A spotter from February event just sent us an email. I'm so glad. Thanks for letting us come and getting into it. No one really hears about that sort of stuff. And that's why we need to push on. We made no secret. Christian's a very ambitious person, and he understands social media. We need to be doing more. We need to be producing more footage of our events and getting it out there. Internationally, everyone needs to be doing it. Every country, every precision rifle shooting country that's going to be in an IPRF qualification needs to be producing more media. People will see it. People want to get involved in it. More training material. Alex is on the cusp of having training run at Bisley, and then we'll have a compendium of training videos that people can just go on and watch. And again, are we 12 months into this yet? We're not, are we?
No, the GBPRA started 12 months ago, but we opened up for memberships in May.
So we floundered around for a few months, trying to work out what we were going to do.
We had constitutions to write and things like that.
Yeah. But in terms of physical effort on the ground to get us where we are now, judging in 12 months. Only today I was speaking to Coops and Tim. We're talking about where we are with Bisley, and Bisley will happen. It's a training venue, but anyone that's been to Bisley and has shot traditional disciplines at Bisley realises how difficult what we do is. There's lots of understanding for their ROs to have, whether it's going to be our ROs with their ROs. For those that don't know, dynamic movement on a gallery range, field fire range, whatever people want to call stuff, makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Moving between barricades with an open bolt is not for the faint-hearted. And if you're an RO that spent your whole life ROing F-class McQueens, CSR is not too bad because the bolt savvy and stuff. But it's going to take some doing. And no one said we were going to change the world overnight, but we're not far off being significantly ahead of where we were in 12 months from opening membership. That'll be by the end of May, we'll have, I don't know if March, April, May, we'll have teams and individual events running 2022 by then. And there's lots to tell people about that.
Yeah, we hosted our first match in July.
Is that all it was?
In July. And in March we shoot our 6th and final qualification match. For the Worlds in August, we've shot an equal number of training events, bringing countless new shooters into the sport. In April, we start a new season that's not a qualification season, but is of 5 individual matches for 2022, and then 14 matches starting in May.
We're missing something because on the 1st of January, we started PR22. And we've got
PR22, yeah.
I want to say 10. I'm terrible with numbers. I should really have.
I thought we had 12 home office.
Well, I thought it was 12. Let's say 12. Let's say 10. Let's say 12. Clubs out there running courses of fire. The feedback we're having is great. It's all over various bits of social media in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Exponentially increasing the shooting opportunities for people. That shouldn't be overlooked. By the time this year's out, we'll have had 6 courses of fire before the finale, which is going to be August, September. That's before we have a winter competition. So you heard it here first. There will be a winter PR22 competition. I'm not going to lie to you. If we had more people, more staff, more volunteers, more capacity, there's other competitions we'd be running as well. Every now and again, we have to sort of say, no, stop. Let's not talk about that again.
Yeah.
Buy me a beer at
curb our enthusiasm.
Or March or someone, I'll tell you all about that nonsense. It's not for here, but there's still a lot of growth there. this is why we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted by the negativity. But enough's enough, really. At some point, people are going to have to stand up and say, you're either grown up in this sport or you're not. And if you're not, fine, crack on. Just leave us alone. Let us crack on with moving the sport forward, introducing more people to sport, bringing kids into sport, bringing the cost down wherever we can, making it accessible to people by having Bisley. Sealgate is going to be later this year. That's April, I think they start the courses up there. Yeah. That segue wise, I know I just said April, but March. So we were going to talk about what happens March onwards, weren't we? You were just in the middle of it before I reminded you about PR22.
Yeah, no. I was just reflecting on how much we've delivered since we upped for membership in May last year and shot our first match in July of last year, and just how much more is going to be coming this year. And you were right to remind us about PR22 as well. We should probably reflect on the qualification season though, because I think the Worlds in France are only 24 weeks away now.
Yeah.
That's going to come very, very quickly, very, very quickly. 6th to the 12th of August in France. Again, thanks to Philippe Lozano, the French Precision Rifle Association, and Ultimate Ballistics in France for when it was clear that Hungary wasn't tenable. Thank you for being one of those nations. We were one of those nations as well, I hasten to add, that said we'll try and do something to make sure that there's an international event this summer. Because let's face it, we promised an international event to our members, and there was no way that if Hungary wasn't going ahead, we were not going to have an international match.
Yeah, not a chance.
And we put ourselves forward to host that international match in August. Maybe not on the scale of a Worlds, but we had a plan B to host an international invitational, and that is still there in our back pocket if it's needed.
We were looking at Portaloos. We were looking at exactly how many nations we could invite.
Yeah.
Logistically, how many days we have to run it.
Yeah.
So,
and we've got that in our back pocket still. So,
anything can happen.
COVID can happen. Look what's going on in Russia and Ukraine.
Exactly. And let's not kid ourselves. Everything could go smoothly now. And then a week before we're due to fly out to France or travel out to France, whatever medium we're going to travel on, we could get locked down here. Something could happen in this country and we could be told we're not going. That's the reality of the world we're in now. I mean, we were in a meeting, Christian and I, with lots of international people. And I was only talking to Rob Bramston. Is Rob the secretary? Rob's the secretary of the IPRF? Help me out.
Vice chairman.
Sorry, I demoted you, Rob. I do apologise. He won't listen to this anyway. It's not game enough for him.
Too cool.
We were talking about this, and there are countries that have said, "Oh well, we don't want to go to all this effort and start spending money on hotels because it could get cancelled at the last minute." That's the world we're in now.
Yeah.
The world we're in now is, anything you do, anything you plan, any holiday you plan, your wedding, they're small undertakings. Taking 40 people to a different country with firearms, crikey, I will be the first one to just laugh if it happens, if it fails a week beforehand.
Yeah.
It'll be disappointing for everyone. Anyone that thinks, oh, that's terrible and it should never happen and it's avoidable. Now that's the world we're in now. And it's our contingency. Our contingency is we could still put on an event on if we needed to.
But I think it's important that our members hear from us, though, that we are moving heaven and earth to make sure that there is a Worlds in whatever country. And failing that, although we do expect France to go ahead, France, let's be clear, they're hosting in April, May, an event that will host 120 shooters in 2 days. Now the Worlds are going to be double that number, heading towards 300 shooters over 4 or 5 days. So they know they can do it. They've done it before. And they're going to have 11 countries there, which is half the number that will be going to the Worlds.
And they've run King of 2 Miles. They've run King of 2 Miles before. It's not the first rodeo. So the reality is, as it stands, we're taking our team to France, bells and whistles.
Yeah.
if for some reason that doesn't happen because the world's an unpredictable place, there will be an international quality event for our competitors.
Yeah.
If there isn't, I'll stand down as my vice chairman. I'll stand down. I have my word in it. There will be an international quality event.
Yeah. So where are we with our qualification? So
let's talk about that. Let's talk about the beginning when it all started in July. You want to run away with it at first? Well, no, we need to have a whistle stop through it, don't we? Josh ran away with it.
All right, okay, yeah.
And this is where I'll need you to bail me out, because even though I was there, I can't remember who won stuff. I should really know these things as match director.
I think our first match had 17 shooters.
Yeah. And that was because I think we had lots of people that were very sceptical about what we were doing.
Yeah. 17 shooters. Josh ran away with it. Alex came fourth, something he'd repeat for the next 3 matches.
Yeah.
He'll laugh at that as well. He knows I'm not.
He won the other week. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on to that. But then you had Tom Rice was up there, Team Jackal. He was up there, and
then we started to see new people come to the game. So people like Jack Crawford, started to appear.
Jack came along. Some new people that hadn't shot precision rifle before. So I'm thinking Lawrence Barnes, Andre Mills.
Yeah.
Really good
came in and hit the ground running. Again, for those that are listening, when these people got involved, they were individual, independent shooters.
Yeah.
The fact now they might have some support just demonstrates the fact that they've done really well.
Yeah.
And then we started to see, so some of the Irish chaps came across. They opened a few people's eyes.
Yeah, so we had the 4 Irish lads, and we had the Gibbons and a couple of other guys. They're already qualified for the Worlds through the Irish Precision Rifle League. And they came over in December. They come over every now and again. They've been shooting some of the Precision Rifle Series UK matches. Mm-hmm. They like to get around and do quite a bit of touring on the scene. But they came over in December and put in an amazing showing at that match. They did really well.
They made a few people sit back and look at what was going on. I mean, one thing that people said to me was they just looked like a team.
Yeah.
The drills were so tight, they looked like a team. And I think that opened a few people's eyes as to what this sport could be. Me, I've said about how important I think teams is as a discipline, as an event going forward. I think they show, because those boys have been shooting together for a long time as a team.
Yeah.
So the Irish boys came over and opened people's eyes. Then Ryan stepped from behind the velvet curtain.
Josh won the first 3. Yeah. I should have made some notes. Josh won the first.
I caught you out because you weren't expecting to speak about this week, so I put you on the spot.
Josh won the first 3. Then for the 4th match, Ryan came along. And Ryan put in the highest individual match score that we've ever had. It beat everybody's score that had gone before. Yeah. And we were really hoping that Ryan had come back in December, because you need to shoot 2 matches to get a qualification score. And we thought he could knock Josh off the top of the leaderboard. And that's high drama. That would have been something to watch. Not wanting either or to be the top shooter, of course.
You want sport to be dramatic.
It's what you want. You want it to be competitive, don't you? You want to see the best shooters going up against each other and battling it out. Ryan then didn't make the match in December because he had a works to.
That's all about. But free beer and food.
Free beer and food. You can't blame him, can you? Anyway.
I've missed some of the most significant things happening in my life because of free beer and food.
Join the club. So, and that was the match in December that the Irish lads came along to. It was great to have them along. They really lifted the place. But Josh won that one again, and then it was like we had a break for winter, and we started PR2 tour. And then we were always waiting for February to see, would Ryan turn up and would Ryan knock Josh off the top spot? And actually, what happened was Alex finally stepped out from 4th place and
do you remember me?
Blew it away.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? So March is going to be epic. March is going to be brilliant. Are we full yet? I think we're pretty much full, aren't we?
So what we've done differently, because this is our last qualification match, 6 matches. What we don't want to do is, if you've got somebody, the leaderboard looks pretty well developed.
Yeah, it does.
But there are definitely some positions on the fringes of qualification for open, factory, and I'd also say senior as well. Although our chairman won't want to hear this because he is qualifying himself.
Senior. Coop's got his fingers in his ears now.
He is like on the brink of losing that position in Hungary. Okay,
he might actually bring a proper caliber with him this time.
Yeah.
Proper bolt and stuff like that.
He needs to leave that 2-2 behind, doesn't he? Yeah. So anyway, you've got those positions that are definitely up for grabs, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in March. And what we didn't want to do, because you need to have shot 2 matches to register a qualification score, what we didn't want to do is we didn't want somebody who hasn't shot a match before booking onto the match, unable to register a qualification score because they'll only have shot 1 match, and potentially preventing somebody who's already got, a real reason to be there, losing their opportunity to secure their place on the Great Britain team. And we want to make sure that the team that goes to Hungary, not to Hungary, to France, it's France now, the team that go to France, we want that to be the best representation of the best in the UK.
And let's not kid ourselves. For those out there listening in podcast land, we regularly hit capacity and have to have a waiting list.
Yeah.
Now, if the person that waiting list is, I don't know, let's pick someone who comes late to the party, but someone who's a contender to go out there, they might not get to shoot. Oh, can you not just put a couple more on? Dangerous game. Those that have shot Orion know what it's like when there's 60 people there back in the day. We are not a profit-making entity. If we were, we'd be opening it up to unlimited numbers. There's 80 people, but we're making 40 quid on each one of them. That's more beer money for us. Nah, we've got to make it safe and enjoyable, keep to with the timescales. End of the day, it's a range that's owned by a farmer. The farmer's got other commitments on there. We've lost firing points in the past because of flying vermin and stuff like that. We've got to keep ourselves to a reasonable number. Can we extend those numbers in extenuating circumstances? We can, but then we're being favourative, aren't we? There are people that have been unable to shoot our events before because we've been at capacity. For us then to relax that rule, for someone who is up there and a contender is obtuse to the point of being perverse, to be honest. What we need to do is make sure that everyone that's able to qualify, and that's the whole reason we're running these events. These aren't social shoots for a big prize at the end. We're doing this purely to get people out to France. So we've got to let those people that are in a position to get to France have a crack at doing it. And there are, like Christian said, the bottom 50% of the scoreboard per discipline, per category could change.
Yeah.
The people that are in the last, they won't thank me for it, in the last 2, maybe 3 open spots, that could change. Certainly the last couple of factory spots could change, veterans. And realistically, we've got to be fair and let those people have a crack. So Ryan's a great example. I mean, I don't know if Ryan's with us in March, I'm not sure. But Ryan came to the party late. He would deserve an opportunity to try and solidify his place because he's already done enough to qualify.
Yeah.
It would be unfair to not do that. So Christian came up with that idea. I think it's a great idea. It's a bit out of the ordinary. Next year, so that's what we're doing there for qualification. That's qualification. We'll know where we are end of March. Just because someone's qualified doesn't mean they're going to travel. When we've got the scoreboard done, there'll be trophies for people. And then we'll say, we'd like to invite you to be part of the GB team. And they'll either come or they won't. If they don't, then there's people behind them and so on and so forth. And we'll know that'll be the end of March. At that point then, probably a little bit before, depending on timescales and stuff, we'll then turn our focus completely to teams and individual events. And the individual events will be, as we said previously on the podcasts, competitions for prizes, for trophies, for glory. No one's going to a different country if they win. It will be who is the best. And from what I've seen this year, we'll see people that are shooting across every competition, every bona fide competition. Again, not some half-fast shoot across the field. Every bona fide, someone will pull a face at me for that because no one likes me using those words, but I don't care. Every bona fide competition, the people that shoot them will be coming and shooting that individual event, which again will have prize tables and trophies and all the stuff we've come to expect internationally from an individual event. Teams will be a different beast. Teams all about who's the best team. It's going to be a dogfight. And it's going to be a war of attrition because it ain't going to be easy for anyone. Those that shot the dueling trees at the last team event will realise just how difficult. Those that know what playing cards are and all that sort of stuff. And there'll be all sorts of little tricks up our sleeves for the team events to make it a team event. But a different beast to what we're doing now. We currently exist to get people to France, full stop. And that's our focus.
Yeah. In respect to the events, we're a lot more than that, as we've already said before. But and I think it's also worth mentioning that we want to keep our format as well. We like the one-day events, the one-day matches, the teams matches is something you don't get in the UK at the moment. That's going to be something unique for people to take part in. And that I think is going to be massive for the industry as well, because that's a real opportunity for businesses to put teams in and really promote their brands through their shooters. And that comes back to the sponsored shooter piece. It's not a sponsored shooters on a gravy train. They've got obligations towards those companies as well.
I'm fully expecting there to be a number of teams taking part. Some who are as supported as is physically possible in this country, given the dynamic. And there will be what I will call privateer teams, a group of mates who want to shoot a team, and all the stipulations we have, and I could be wrong, they have to be in the same top. So they have to be in the same top, and all the rules will come out, but they have to be in the same top so they can be distinguishable as a team when there's a competition going on with, people shooting different places. And they must have a number of calibers, because there'll be some competition, some classifiers, some stages where certain calibers won't be suitable, and that'll be down to distance and targetry. So, good example is certain targetry is only rated up to certain steel, to certain calibers. So there'll be things like that. They'll all know in advance. They'll say your team needs to consist of needs to have this caliber at its disposal. There'll be people drawn out at random to shoot certain stages. They won't be able to control who's going in. Some stages they'll be able to control who's going in. They can pick their best shooter for that stage. So it'll be just completely different. Yeah. And like I said this before, we're not excluding anyone. If anyone wants to come to the table and talk to us about team stuff and what they'd like to see in those teams, get hold of me. I've had a couple of people contact me and give me some ideas. Fantastic. Yeah. Keep it coming. It's your competition. And if you're not taking part in it, it'll be a fantastic thing to watch, which is what we'll do. We'll hopefully get as many spectators there as we can, because the layout will be different. So it'll be geared towards people coming along who are new to the sport to watch Team AI or Team C2 or whoever it might be, going through the motions as a team, having trained as a team, having set up as a team, communicated as a team, etc., etc.
Can I reflect on something? And this touches on a number of the things that we've been discussing tonight. You've heard of Chris Way, haven't you? In the States. Have you not? No, Sam, you're not down with the cool kid if you haven't heard of Chris Way.
Is it a podcast?
Yeah, it's John Creswell. John Creswell talks about him all the time. He never shuts up about it.
I don't watch John's podcast. I'm sorry, John. I don't watch John's podcast.
the craft rifle challenge.
I've heard of Craft Rifle Challenge.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Chris Way. So I was heading out to the farm this morning to go on the rabbits, and I was listening to the Chris Way's latest podcast, and it was all about training. And what he was saying was, you can buy the latest equipment, you can have the latest equipment given to you, okay, but it's only going to take you to a certain level in your development as a shooter. And for you to get the rest of the way to be, in the top 20% of shooters, what it comes down to at the end of the day is your dedication, your structured training, putting in the hard yards. Yeah. And what he also talked about was it's about doing things differently. He's a climber, by the way. He used to be a professional climber or something. And he said, he often see climbers that wouldn't attempt a certain climb because it was new to them. And they were scared that they wouldn't be up to their usual standards if they did that climb. So they'd stick to doing the same things that they always do so that could continue to be at the top of their game. But that's preventing their development from moving forward. I see the UK precision rifle scene a little bit like that at the moment in terms of opportunities for shooters, because we've got a certain format and we're going to extend our format, our way of putting on matches with teams. Then you've got PRS UK. And they've got their own format and they do things differently there. And then you've got Gardeners and they do different things differently there. And
they've got dynamic stuff at Gardeners. No one else is doing that.
And they've got the dynamic stuff, which is unique. Nobody else does the dynamic stuff. At the GBPRA, what we want to see the best Great Britain team possible.
Yeah, that's what we can.
Every 2 years to go and challenge the world. And that team is not going to be the best if all they're doing is shooting GBPRA matches. We want them to go to our matches, to teams matches, to PRS UK, to the CIS matches. You know, so but bringing it back to all those people that want to tear us down and undo what we're trying to do. Do you understand what we're in this for, what we're trying to build and what we're trying to do? We're trying to make sure that this sport grows.
And because other people have started to see it for what it is. If you'd have asked me 6 months ago, would we have someone who wanted to run IPRF qualification events on our behalf, given how the dynamic was back in the day, I'd have said no. It's changed now. We're now having genuine conversations with people who see a merit in supporting what we're doing and helping us run qualification events. They won't be MD'd by me or Tim or yourself, Christian. There'll be their events run in their style, in their layout, in their format. All we want to do is identify the best shooters within that competition who can accrue points. We're not going to stand on the toes. We're not going to eat lunch for them. But the more that happens, then up and down the country, it becomes far more accessible, and we'll see it's a more challenging test to get the best. It's not just one shoot of the same format, the same place. It's up and down the country in different conditions. More people will be in contention to qualify for future events, and that can never, ever be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, in 2024, the IPRF, if everything goes according to plan, will have rimfire 22LR within the world.
Yeah.
Which is, there's no coincidence. That's why we're now pushing PR22. We want other people to push 22 as well. Yeah. We speak to all the other 22 match facilitators, all of them. And I'm not saying that like one of those sorry comments. I have physically spoken to every match director, and they have been invited to our finale. And without exception, they've agreed to come and send their best shooters to our finale that we have in September.
Yeah.
We need to grow that. It's a small country. Those people who are talented with a 2-2 will be talented with a centre fire in the fullness of their progression through this sport. And you're absolutely right, Christian. We need as much diversity, as many venues, as many facilitators coming to us and saying, I've got a guy here that's just won this competition and he should be shooting for GBT.
A calendar full of events.
Yeah, absolutely.
All over the country.
Yep.
There's the people that want it. There's enough people out there to fill the places. That's been proven.
Yeah.
That's been proven.
But now we're like you said, we are more than just the IPRF qualification, but that's where our focus is at the moment.
Yeah.
Getting people through the March event, getting everything lined up, getting the logistics sorted out. But then that will then be a side project on a subcommittee once everyone's got the trophies and the tea and the medals and the handshakes. And then we will roll into, well, how do we then look to add value to the shooting dynamic within this country. The teams and the individual event, the one-day individual event. People have said they want a one-day individual event to roll onto a training walk through the day after, so that they can then work on those stages. I don't know if, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know if anyone else does that, but I'm guessing not. That's great. That means that we can start to then upskill the winners, and the winners can work through stages with the people that may be new to that competition. And they can, the first place shooter on Saturday can stand next to the 18th place shooter on Sunday and tell him why he did that on a stage. I think that's why they want it, And again, that's just another dynamic that's bringing. It's closing the gap, closing the gulf in positions. Because I can think of nothing better than paying my money to come shoot an event on Saturday, knowing on a Sunday I can follow around Ryan or Alex or whoever it might be, and they'll talk me through. Do you know why I did so well on that stage? It's because of this. And then you get people saying, well, they're not going to do. I had someone say to me, they're not going to do that because they want to win the next event. Wrong mindset.
Yeah.
They'll be, if we get it right, they'll all be on the same team shooting in France or wherever it might be. Not against each other, supporting each other. If we don't get to a situation where we are such a safe learning environment where there's that competitive edge which you're always going to have with anyone, but they're looking at closing that gap themselves and bringing people on. And we have it. I could be wrong. March, the Saturday training event in March, we've got 2 instructors on as it stands. I know it could change. So you've got Alex and Jack.
Alex and Jack, yeah.
They're not doing that because they get anything for it. They're doing it because they want to put something back in. I've had people contact me, I want to instruct. Jack was brilliant. Tell me where you need me, tell me what to do. I want to come instruct. Very talented shooter, very disciplined shooter, from a very disciplined background, a lot to offer to new shooters. And there are people that are coming to that March training day that will get so much from him and so much from Alex. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do.
People say to us, don't they? Why don't you let competitors at qualification matches share win calls? It's like, because it's a qualification event and we want to send the GB team that's full of shooters that can stand on their own 2 feet. They are the best in their own right without the support of other people. But once we've got that GB team together, guys, we want you to be not individuals. We want you to be a team. We want you to be helping.
We've got some training events lined up.
Supporting each other. Between
qualification ending in March, the team being ratified, whatever, and us going to August, there'll be various workshops, training events. We've had some very kind offers from some venues to put on training for us in different conditions. So the team will get together for a few days somewhere a bit different, a bit of team building and a bit of shooting in different conditions, because we're going to be in northeast France in some capacity. That's Philippe's neck of the wood. The conditions there can be just as uncomfortable as, it's not South France, it's not sun and sandals. It can get quite cold and windy and blustery, and even in August. So they've got to be ready for different conditions. Shooting at Roundhouse and shooting at Gardeners, as was now the FCSA up in Estelmuir, completely two different ball games.
Yeah.
In terms of weather conditions and all that sort of stuff. So we've got to try and get them up and down the country, because there's people that won't shot. There's people that qualify for. Will there be people qualify for the IPRF event that won't have shot in Scotland? Possibly.
And that's another historic thing, isn't it? And it's a shame because we need our shooters to be that we need that GB team to be shooting at as many venues and in as many conditions as possible, because it helps with their development.
Yeah, and we've had some very positive conversations with other match providers recently, where we should be able to put our GB team into as many different environments as possible for them to get as comfortable and skilled and experienced as they can. I'm confident that we're in a strong position for that, and we'll just have to see what happens. Press his button. 1 hour and 4 minutes we're on now. That's not bad.
I could keep going all night, mate. I love talking about stuff.
I've done everything on my list I need to talk about. What have you got on your list?
I think we've covered it all, to be honest.
I think it's one of those. I think we started off with a negative, and unfortunately, we've not had negatives for a while.
Needed addressing.
We've not had negatives for a while. We've been going on, and lots of people say, oh, it's great that everyone's building bridges. It's great that everyone's getting on. It's great that we're all working together. We've got great dialogue with all the other match organisers now and venues and stuff, and it's great. It's just a bit unfortunate when someone then just has to sort of, be that guy, Ron, be that guy and just try and make something feel negative.
Yeah.
And the reality is everyone's seeing you internationally. You've got what you wanted. Everyone's seeing you for what you are. Congratulations, well done. Let's just put it back to bed like it was and let's move on. I'm conscious I'll probably be a Bears post. Make sure you check Bears on Facebook because I'll probably be a Bears meme in some capacity for something I've said tonight. But I don't care. I didn't get into this to make friends.
I've still saved my favourite Bears meme from 9 months ago, and I am going to get it put on a T-shirt eventually.
Yeah, which one's that? Oh no, don't. We'll save that. We'll save it for a T-shirt. We'll do a podcast.
Wait until I get it made into a T-shirt, and then you'll see it. You'll remember it then.
But I mean, it's a dramatic thing, and somewhat, for evil to succeed, it's for decent people to stand by and do nothing. I'm terribly paraphrasing a very famous quote, but I've had a busy day today. I've spent some time on the phone with Scott Saturday over in the States, and we were talking about this. And every country's got that guy that tries to, that isn't happy and tries to undermine it. But we've got to take these people to task. And Scott said it absolutely right. We've got to take these people to task. We've got to say that thing that everyone's thinking that nobody wants to hear and then move on from it. And hopefully these people will realise that A, they're not going to beat us. They're not going to get us down. They're not going to sway us from our commitment to what we're doing. But equally, everyone's just going to see them for the bell ends that they are.
Yeah.
Scott didn't say that. That's not an American word. I don't like to say bell end. I'd be interested, but we'll get Scott to do the introduction. This is the GBPRA podcast because we need a voiceover guy. And I think in America, it'd be quite cool whether he'd lower himself to our humble podcast. I don't know. International shooter extraordinaire. Right. I think we need to pull a plug on it. We've covered lots of ground. We're just going to end up going around in circles. I'm enthused. There's lots to look forward to. We're nearly at the end of qualification.
Yeah.
I've not even allowed myself to start getting excited about individual and teams events for this year. We're having some great discussions with industry people that want to support what we're doing. And yeah, we had a good show at the British Shooting Show. We had a stall at the Target Shooting Show. We're going to be at the Northern Shooting Show. Come and see us. We're the easiest people in the world to get hold of. We won't block you. We won't delete your posts. We've got a Facebook page you can come and talk to us on. You can message us all. We're all accessible. If you're not sure what we're doing, get yourself along to a training event or get yourself along to a competition. If we've got the capacity, please check first. We'll let you come and watch the competition. If you're new to the sport, PR22 is the future. Speak to your local club and say, I want to shoot PR22. Tell them to reach out to us. We'll make it happen. We'll get your course of fire out. We were going to have, the irony is, we were going to have Philippe on as a podcast, weren't we? Even before France decided to.
Well, yeah, because Philippe's been really engaging, hasn't he? He's always reached out to shooters in the UK on social media.
Well, he's in our Facebook
2 miles group. And what have you. Yeah. But even he's always been in Sharpshooting UK and other sites. Yeah.
So we were going to have him on, and I think we'll probably have him. We'll revisit that invite now and get him on to talk about his plans.
Oh, we absolutely
get a bit further down the road.
Yeah,
we'll get him to announce the venue because the venue hasn't been announced yet for good reason. Because until it's, you've heard me say it a million times on our podcast, until it's nailed on, only a fool would announce it. Plenty of announcements happen in this industry and other similar industries, and it's just smoke and nonsense. Until it's nailed on, you don't announce anything. But when it is, we'll get Philippe on. We'll talk about that. We've also got. We'll talk about. We've been working with some slightly left of centre precision rifle opportunities. It's probably the best way I can put it. So we'll be getting a very colourful character on to talk to us about what they see as another future for precision rifle away from centre fire. I'm being as vague as I can without spoiling it.
I'm with you though. I know what you're talking about.
Good. And that one won't be one to be missed. Craig.
That's going to be interesting. That one actually. Yeah.
We'll have to keep an eye with that. And then we're going to we'll have to have some sort of wash up when we've dished the trophies out for.
Well, I think we're going to have to get the GB team on as well. once we've selected who's going to France, we're
Will
gonna
you do that?
have to
What,
get
get them
those
all sat
guys
on a
on.
sofa? There'll be loads of them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can manage it. We can sort something out, can't
Sure,
we?
a man of your caliber can very easily coordinate 16 people and you and me talking nonsense for an hour. I'll leave
Well,
it on you.
maybe me and you need to step up our game and do more of these, and then we'll just do one or two at a time. Maybe we'll do one for open division, one for factory, one for senior.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I do well just to plug this in and talk to you. Lord knows how we do it if we had 4 or 5 people to talk to. But we did the one with Alex and that turned out all right. Lots to look forward to. That's it for us. Thank you everyone for bearing with us. If you listen to us for an hour and 10 minutes, then fair play to you. You've obviously got nothing better to do. But if nothing else, this is us just being honest and transparent and telling you what's going on.
Yeah.
Which we'll always try to be. No agendas, no games, no hidden motives. We'll stay as it is. If you don't like it, and I apologise, but like we say, we didn't get into this because we were short of friends. So thanks from me. Christian will no doubt have one of his famous farewells, but thanks for listening.
Well, I always say be kind to each other or something like that, don't I?
Do.
Tonight, what I'm going to say is don't be the one bell end. Be the 999 people that are actually positive about what we're trying to do.
Don't be that guy. Don't be Ron. Don't be that guy.
Don't be Ron. Yeah.
There's a t-shirt. Don't be Ron. That would be bullying. We're not going to do that. We're better than that, but it would be funny. Anyway, thanks for everything. Thanks for everyone. Be kind to each other, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.